welcome to one of, if not the most iconic race circuit in Formula 2. A track with absolutely no room for error, a track that requires every bit of skill these young drivers can muster. We're getting ready for lights out here in Monte Carlo. So the Circuit de Monaco, 19 corners making up this famous 2-mile track. It's already one of the slowest tracks in the calendar, and in these difficult conditions, we can expect average speeds to be even lower still. And even with that, it's fair to assume that we may well see the safety car out at some point during the race. I'm joined by a man who's had many a wet race, Davide Valsecchi. Just how challenging will these conditions be out there on track?
Delighted to be here, Alex. Even in this weather, nothing will be easy for them. We may have standing water, which means visibility will be a worry. They just need to stay clear of the white lines and curbs. That can cause you a real problem when it's so slippery.
And here are the driver grid positions for today's race. An immense lap from Nobuharu Matsushita yesterday puts him on pole position. And it's Felipe Dragovic in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Piquet, Ilott, Daniel Ticktum, and Sonoda, Ghiotto, Aitken, Deruvala, Christian Lundgaard, Mazepin, Sato, Roy Nissany, and Schwartzman, Joe, Galeo, Delatrans, and Marcus Armstrong, Markelot, and Giuliano Alesi, Schumacher, and Guilherme Samaya completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Hey there, racing gamers. Welcome back to the FIA Formula 2 Championship. The road to getting good. I'm Mikey McBlam, your commentator, driving as Guilherme Samaya, the number 10 for Campos Racing, and we are here at my worst nightmare.
It's my nightmare! It's my goddamn nightmare!
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Monaco, but not just any Monaco, a wet and slippery Monaco. We have wet tires on right now. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled at all. Because what we are about to witness and go through is easily the worst on-track experience I've ever had in a racing game. It's the worst on-track experience in the racing game. Like, obviously you guys cannot see me at this point, but at this point, when I was sitting here on the grid, I was absolutely fuming. I had done so much practice here to where I wasn't mowing down the walls. And I had done it quite a few times. I was trying to learn the edges, and what it came down to is, like, I lose a lot of time in the hairpin because I don't have a lot of confidence getting back on the throttle. And after that hairpin, you know, like, you go through the section before you're about to get to the tunnel. I spun out a lot. I spun out in qualifying, and I just have a lot of trouble getting down the power there. But if I'm careful, I can maintain. I was like 18th in practice. But if I'm careful there, I just have to be mindful about that particular set of corners. But this is a whole new ball game. I was not expecting rain whatsoever, and I did a lot of practice. I practiced for a good hour and a half, just constantly resetting. It was like every time I got to where, like, all right, well, it's like 2 minutes left. All right, boom, restart the session and start practice over. Just go out there and just run laps. And like I said, just trying not to mow down the walls, because that's extremely easy to do here if you have no experience, which, like me, I have no experience. That's why this whole thing is the road to getting good. So yeah, like, I did whatever I could to try to learn the racetrack to, like I said, to where I was only mowing down a couple of walls, and spinning out in certain areas, but I felt competent enough to where, like, okay, I can run in the back and just kind of like maybe give, Schumacher, Alesi, Markelov, maybe give these guys a little bit of a race, but really just try to sit back, learn, gain experience. And I did not expect rain whatsoever. I did not expect there to be rain. So once the rain showed up, I was just so angry, because it's like, I have to go to the most difficult racetrack on this circuit, probably in almost any game. And now it's raining. And it just became an absolute nightmare. It became an absolute nightmare that led to me making one of the most heartbreaking decisions that I've ever had to do in a racing game. And that's the look, we'll just see when we get to it. But right now, we're heading out to the track, and you can see the absolute disaster that was Monaco in the wet. All right, we're here at Monaco in the wet, lights out, and here we go. Off into turn one, and you already see like I'm having so much trouble trying to get the power down. It just does not want to grip up, and we just basically don't even really break into turn one. We just kind of slide. Got a warning for our collision with Schumacher, but I'm pretty sure I had hit the wall there. That was not Schumacher, but whatever, stewards, I understand that you can't see, because I certainly can't see a thing in this wet weather, so I'm starting to try to back off just a little bit here as we're getting down to these final set of corners before we hit the hairpin. As you can see, like I'm on the brakes, and it's just kind of it's kind of slip sliding all over the place. So I'm trying to catch up to these guys, and then we have obviously yellow flag for this absolute log jam. This took a while to clear, so we had to go ahead and jump. So this was the section I always had some trouble with. You see right there, every time I would hit that section, and I would lose it. I would just lose it, and unfortunately, that was just. Apparently, you know, according to Jeff, that start was okay. So, but yeah, I just hadn't. I was developing less and less confidence about getting the power down, since this guy just didn't seem to want to grip up, you know, with me, you know, trying to get on the throttle, and that might just be a thing where I just need to like start learning manual gearing. Maybe I can, you know, start doing some short shifting, because the automatic gearing doesn't seem to be helping out a whole lot. So we obviously lost a lot of time during that spin out. And we're just coming up through here, trying to hit the hairpin once again. But I started to notice something as time started to go on. I was starting to get this real sense of oversteer. And I wasn't sure if that was just me, or was the track getting wetter. But you'll notice, like, okay, this lap seems like it's not great, obviously, but it's like I'm okay, you know. But you see, like, I am very, very ginger about getting back on the gas. But I was starting to notice, like, I was starting to get some serious understeer going on here, even through that little section there, which is a high-speed corner. I should have been able to just, you know, crank the wheels to the right and go, but I'm noticing more and more that the car is just not turning. And you see right there, I started to slide just into the wall, like the front tires just didn't do front tire things. And I was feeling the car get light in a lot of areas. Like right here, it felt like it got light. So I got off the throttle, got on the brakes a little bit sooner than I wanted to. But I was trying not to wreck the race car. Is what was going on. But I noticed right here, right as we came to lap 3, I was starting to slow down, didn't do anything different here, and it just didn't turn. It was as if my downforce was completely gone, and the only thing I could compare it to is like if you lose your front wing, which is interesting. I don't have damage on. Obviously, I would have been wrecked out of this race a long time ago. But even here, through the tunnel section, you see me like I'm lifting and it just goes straight. It's like I don't have any downforce in the car whatsoever, and I'm like, I'm blowing this turn. I'm just basically sliding. So I'm like, well, maybe something's wrong. Maybe something's wrong. So you know what?
We've held position on lap 1. That's not great, but it's not terrible.
Everything's terrible, Jeff. Everything's terrible, okay? But anyway, so I said, let me start over. Maybe something's going on here, because it really just wasn't responding to anything. It wasn't responding to the brakes. I was like, maybe is it getting wetter, or do I have damage? You know, maybe it's like a glitch or something. So I was thinking maybe that was the case. Maybe there's like some glitch where it thought I had front wing damage or didn't have a front wing, so it was acting like that. But I restarted the race, restarted the session, and everything seemed fine on lap 1. I was actually getting a lot of understeer. If you notice there, through the S's up the hill, I actually understeered almost into the wall. And like clockwork, lap 5, it just seemed like I was starting to lose grip. I was obviously sideways there. But I realized like I was feeling like I was not in the track as much as I was on the first few laps. Now, I don't know if this is heavy rain. Maybe the rain is heavier and there's a lot more. See, Jeff says it's light rain, but, you know, I know from, you know, watching Arava and a lot of other people that Jeff doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. So, and obviously through your feedback, but it just felt like the car wasn't in the racetrack. And maybe this is just how Monaco feels in the wet, because I have absolutely no tire grip, none at this point. Like I have no confidence. So I have no confidence getting on the brakes, and I have no confidence. Yeah, it's like here, I'm just ridiculous oversteer. Like I said, it feels like I just don't have a front wing. That's the only thing I can really compare it to. Now, I don't know, like I said, maybe this is how Monaco feels in the wet. Maybe this is just, you know, it's a street course, so maybe like it's a whole lot slicker in wet conditions. But you see here, I'm lifting, almost mow down the wall again, braking, and just absolutely blow this corner. It just wouldn't slow down. And even then, I felt like I was hydroplaning. So, once again, we start over. Once again. You see here, I'm lifting, bam, mow down the wall. And it's like clockwork. It was like clockwork every single time, and I'm just hydroplaning at this point. Like, I have no grip in the tires. I was literally just along for a ride there. And it just became such a handful. You know, not being able to get down on the gas, not being able to stay in the gas in a lot of areas. So I was like, well, let me just try to pit. Maybe if I pit, things will be better. Maybe, you know, maybe it's just the tires are wearing, and I understand, like, okay, I've fallen way back, sliding everywhere, spinning out everywhere, hitting walls, because I couldn't turn the race car. And I realized, like, okay, yeah, I'm here, I'm going to go a lap down, obviously. I eventually do get this lap back, because obviously they have to make their pit stop as well. But it just, this was just, you see here, I'm not even full throttle through there, and it just, bam. It didn't really help a whole lot. In certain corners, yes, it did grip up. But in other areas, it just didn't. I'm also braking a whole lot earlier and a whole lot harder, so I am getting some oversteer there. So there was a bit of tire wear that was affecting me, but nothing like it felt here. It just felt like it was just getting worse and worse lap after lap. And unfortunately, this led me to have to make one of the more difficult decisions that I've ever really made in a racing game. I am not the start and park kind of guy. I am just not that kind of guy. But this race being the handful that it was, I had looked up at how many laps were left. And like I said, I eventually do go a lap down, but I get that lap back when they go through their pit stops. But this just became an absolute burden. And like I said, led me to having to make one of the most difficult decisions I've ever made. I'm not a start and park kind of guy, but I couldn't make it through this race. I looked up at how many laps were left and realized that I was already, like, at this point in time, I'm already sweating, like, profusely, because I'm trying to, you know, get a handle on the race car. I'm trying to slide. I'm sliding everywhere. I'm not slowing down the way I want to, the way I need to, and it just, I had to retire from session. I'm not it was a tough decision. I sat there for quite a while before I just realized this is something I need to do. I realized where my limit was, and I had to do it. So, but I'll talk more about that a little bit later. You'll hear me talk about that a little bit later in the video.
Well then, that concludes another excellent race. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
This race, this week, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just one lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be MP Motorsport picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Nobuharu Matsushita takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after that excellent result. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Let's give it to Jehan Daruvala. That was a quality drive from start to finish. He can be proud of that one.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. MP Motorsport moved to the top of the table. Another team that excelled today was Dams, who make further progress up the table. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow. And we're back. After yesterday's feature race, the top 8 drivers have been reversed on the grid, setting up some exciting action as we launch into today's event, the sprint race. Alongside me today, I'm delighted to welcome back to the commentary box the 2012 GP2 champion, Davide Valsecchi. There looks to be a challenging race ahead of the drivers today, Davide. With that in mind, what are you looking out for today?
Well, Alex, I want to see how the drivers at the back of the grid are going to roll down. They'll need to make an impact in the early stages, and they're probably hoping for a bit of luck at the start. We may see some bold maneuvers out there today.
All right. After the travesty that was Monaco in the wet, we're doing Monaco in the dry. Lights out for the sprint race here at Monaco. And the term of the day is drive angry. Drive angry is the term of the day, as we just bumped Delatraz just a little bit, but we picked up a couple of spots on the start here as we come up through the S's and the uphill. Oh, man! Delatraz slowed down so much that was almost a brake check that's going to allow Alesi to go back on by us. He cost us a spot there. He slowed down more than anyone else did. So that almost, like I said, that pretty much looked just like a brake check. But we're out here going through the hairpin, trying our best to hold off these guys behind us, Armstrong and Schumacher, which I don't understand why Schumacher's back here, but he is back here. Going through, trying to get a little bit oversteer, nudge the wall before we get into the tunnel section. Armstrong looking on our outside. So we're about to go into the bus stop chicane. And Armstrong dive bombs us. We lock tires with Armstrong. He's going to go by, and Michael Schumacher spins us out. Oh no. I was tempted to restart this section. I was tempted to just go ahead and restart it, but I decided, no. I've done that enough today. I have done that enough today. Michael Schumacher just absolutely just drove completely over us. He just drove over us, and I am super angry at this point. I am incredibly angry at this point. Because I felt like I was going to have a chance to not finish last. But after that, I don't think I have anything to catch. I have anything to catch those guys up there. But more importantly, our teammate Jack Aiken, who got that all-important 8th place finish at the feature race, gets to start on the pole. He's getting chased down by Guan Yu Zhou as he comes through the tunnel section. And he's going to take the bus stop chicane a little bit more, you know, like a race car driver, because, you know, the AI are obviously perfect here. But he's doing well for himself. He's actually pulling away from the field. Like Jack is just, he's the man. He is the man of Campos Racing right now, just carrying him, carrying the team on his back. Ooh, he had to slow down quite a bit there for Rascaz. Like he almost looked like he was going to nudge the wall there, but he didn't. He kept it off of it. So that's interesting. I will say that is very interesting that he also seems to be having that same problem that I also have in that same corner. But yeah, we lost some time, obviously, through the hairpin. Trying to come through this same section here, and we actually get through it pretty good that time around. So we go down the hill, got a little bit slideways, but we're okay. Coming to complete lap number 3. Cutting the corner a little bit there. No one saw anything. The stewards weren't watching. No, look. I'm not gaining time on anybody at this point. It's fine. You know, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at this point. It's like, give me a warning if you want to, but I'm not gaining time on anybody at this point. I'm literally just trying to calm myself down at this point and just kind of run the racetrack as best as I can. Like I said, this is one of the sections where I have a lot of just confidence getting the power down. I don't have any. Like, I really don't have any, but I'm not doing terrible. I'm still slow because, like I said, the confidence with getting the power down just doesn't exist at this point through that particular section. Here, I'm kind of okay. You know, took that pretty well. Without Armstrong dive bombing it on the inside. I don't know where he was going. I don't think you can actually make that kind of move work through that section, but maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen a whole lot of races at Monaco for that. But yeah, the thing with Schumacher, that was unnecessary. That was unnecessary. Like, I mean, he just flat out ran us over. And that's... It's not like I really blame him all that much. We go back to Jack Aitken, who's actually getting chased down by Joan Ujo. But, yeah, like, it's not that I blame him that much, because I do understand that myself and Armstrong, we had locked tires. We were slower because of that. You know, we had locked tires. And I was trying to get the car going back straight. Armstrong's trying to get the car going back straight. And it looked like Schumacher was trying to make a move 3 wide on the outside, which was never going to work. So when he came back down, without slowing down, there was just nowhere else for him to go. And he just took us for a ride. And we wound up getting the raw end of that deal, being spun backwards. But yeah, unfortunately, we got, like I said, we got the raw end of that deal. Jack Aitken is starting to really, really pull away now. Yeah, like he is just on rails here. He's on a clinic. I have to remember to avoid that little bump that's in that section, but what I've been trying to do is just kind of watch him go through this hairpin, and he just rolls it so well, something that I can't, or I haven't been able to really figure out how to do. He does hit that outside curb, it's the same as I do, but I hit that outside curb and I spin. you know, I can't hit that curb the same way. But he goes through that section just fine, and I'm just going to be real. Jack Aitken's got this. He's got this in the bag right now. I don't think anyone's got anything for him, so let's go ahead and check on, see how we're doing. About that good. About that good. All right. As we just absolutely mow the wall down. It was eventually going to happen. Like I said, I'm not driving at the happiest, but As I called it, Jack Aiken is the race winner. No competition from behind from Guan Yu Zhou. We're about 25 seconds away from Artem Markelov, especially after, hitting that wall, which slowed us down considerably. But still got a little bit of understeer, but I think that was a little bit of me overdriving at that time because, like I said, when you drive angry, you don't typically drive at your best ability. And you know what? I've got to take what I can get, and not spin it out. But I got to take what I can get here and realize that I did the impossible. What I thought was going to be impossible. It's only 5 laps, but I have survived Monaco. We're last, but the point is, we survived. We survived 5 laps around Monaco. Guan Yu Zhou is the driver of the day, who apparently has been replaced with a dot. Interesting.
A great win then for the Campos team today. So, Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out of everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way round.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Campos have come a really long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn the top spot. And now, let's take a look at the driver's standings. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Probably Jack Aiken. Strong pace, good work with the strategy, just a very complete drive, I think.
On to the teams then. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. Meanwhile, good work from Campos this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
You know what? He's not lying. He's not lying. A lie down would be awesome right now. I am incredibly... I need to shower right now. It's funny. I showered before I started this. I need to shower. I'm so freaking sweaty. But how about Jack Aiken with his second win of the season, carrying Campos Racing on his back, because God knows I can't do it. We have Yuki Tsunoda finishing in second, Jahan Daruvala, Callum Ilott, Dan Ticktum round out the top 5. Dams. Pedro Piquet and Felipe Drogovic, Lundgaard, Matsushita, and Giotto will round out the top 10. And we're all the way dead last place. Obviously, I am surprised to see Mick Schumacher back here. I am really surprised to see Mick Schumacher back here. I noticed that in the rain race as well. But I was like, what? What are you doing back here? And that he didn't move up a whole lot. That's what really genuinely surprised me. Check out the race director, because I swore that Guan Yu Zhou had the driver of the day. So I don't know if that, I think that gets taken away from you if you get a penalty. So let's see if he actually got a penalty. Let's see. Incidents. No. Matsushita collision with Lundgaard. Collision with Mick Schumacher. He's probably the one that ran me over. He's probably the one that ran me over. And corner cutting, obviously I got that one because I overcooked it. Let's see. Going to the standings, we have Nobuharu Matsushita in the points lead, 5 points over Pedro Piquet, Callum Ilott, and Dan Ticktum, and Jack Aiken. Hey, I just now noticed that. Jack Aiken is up in the top 5 in points now. He's only 17 points back. Let's see. We've fallen back, what, like 19? Oh, we're still P16. Somehow we're still P16. I guess we're still better than these guys. Well, granted, they're not gaining any points. Why is Guan Yu Zhou all the way back here? What is going on? Anyway, guys, that was the most painful race ever recorded by anyone ever. No one's ever done that before, so that's a first. I'm setting records here on McBlam Racing. No one has ever recorded a race more painful than this. You know what, the sprint race was actually kind of fun. It was until I got taken out. I get it. It was a mistake. I made plenty of mistakes, so I get it. I'm not like super mad at Mick Schumacher or anything like that. I'm not mad. It is what it is. I mean, just like, I felt like we had a good run going to possibly not finish last. And like I was starting to, I'd really started to, you know, with the super softs and everything, I was really starting to figure out the racetrack and everything, and I felt like I could have some pace that, you know, like I said, not last pace, but that was just that corner was just a disaster. You know, it all started, I got hooked going into that turn there, so it's one of those things. It's just one of those things. It's a disappointing finish, but at the same time, like, it's over. I survived. Now, granted, if damage was on, I wouldn't have. If damage was on, I definitely would not have survived. But this is one that's going in the books. It's going in the books. I survived it. It's done. It's over with. We have Azerbaijan, which is coming up next, which, from what I understand, puts on some of the greatest racing in F1. So, especially this year. This year was actually a lot of fun to watch. So, let's see what we can do in the F2 series. Maybe we can pull it back together and hopefully, well, not gonna say hopefully, we're obviously gonna do a whole lot better than we did than we did here at Monaco. But maybe the overly difficult tracks are out of the way, and we only have six. Wait, is it 6? No, it's 8 more races to go. So 8 more races to go. So I'm looking forward to Azerbaijan. I hope you are. But this one has taken, I don't want to say it's took the wind out of my sails. I'm just tired, man. Like, it wore me out. That wore me out. I thought Spain got me sweaty. Like, Spain got me sweaty, and I was like, man, that was hard. Like, Zandvoort got me, you know, like, got me sweaty, but this one, my gosh. I have nothing but respect for you if you could figure out this racetrack and race on it and competitively win, you know, against, like, you know, maximum AI, you know, it's let alone if you're actually able to drive this track in real life, you know, it's just like, I have nothing but respect for you if you could drive if you can drive around Monaco and be extremely good, because I've seen so many people just be so good, and I'm like, how did that? Wish I knew how they did it. I wish I knew how they did it, because it's hard. It's really, really hard. That is the hardest racetrack I've ever been on. And, you know, like, not trying to compare too much to NASCAR or anything like that, but usually Dover's the most toughest track. And I hate Dover. I don't hate Monaco, like I said earlier. I was like, I don't hate Monaco. It's just hard. It's hard, and I like the challenge, but I also know where my limits are. I know where my limits are with this. So I'm like, okay, like I said, during that rain race, I was not going to last. I was not going to last. Like, halfway through the race, and I'm pouring sweat, and I'm like, I can't make it. I can't make it, man. Get the substitute driver in there and put him in. Come on, I can't do it. And that's, if you guys knew how much of a tough pill that is to swallow. But whenever I have to just be like, I can't. I legitimately cannot make it around this track another lap. You know, and like, I'm it was just a matter of time before I was like, you know, like 2 laps down or something like that. And I'm just like, I'm dying out here. I am just legitimately dying. So it was a tough pill to swallow. I'll say that much. It was a definite tough pill to swallow. This week has been the week of just all around tough races, man, from the SRX dirt race to this one, and then coming in, you know, like I said, I recorded the SRX race right before this one, so that's probably a good deal, a good reason as to why I'm so worn out. I probably should not have done that. I probably should have came in and tried to do this, you know, straight off the hand, straight out, like just fresh. But it's been tough, man. This is a tough week, and I'm up for the challenge. And I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna look at that racetrack and I'm gonna say, you know what, man? Next time, you ain't gonna beat me. Because rest assured, if there's any track that I'm going to practice on, just in my spare time, it's going to be that Monaco racetrack. I'm going to get that track. I'm going to get this track down. I'm going to get that track down because I'm not losing like that again. I'm not just going to lose like that again. You're not going to... Look, I might finish last again, but you ain't going to get me to quit. It's not going to happen. If it rains, then so be it. I don't care. I'm going in and I'm going in hard. So, going in hard, raw, no lubrication. We're just doing it. Get it in there. So, anyway, guys, yeah, you can tell I'm tired because I'm loopy right now. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning into the FI Formula 2 racing here on McBlam Racing. If you enjoy these races, I do them every month, weekend-ish, following the actual F2 series. This was an extra one for the month because there is only 8 rounds, so this game has 12, so I'm going to try to disperse them out. So there's going to be 2 races next month as well, and a couple races in August, and we should be caught up. And then we'll just start releasing them as the actual races start to come out. So we got Azerbaijan coming up next. That's going to be fun. This was the road to getting good. And we crashed and burned a lot on this road, but you know what? We put the tires back on, you know, put some more fuel in, we keep on trucking, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.